Hi guys, sorry I'm so late. Hello, I'm late. I apologize. 10 minutes late. I thought I wasn't coming. Hi guys. Who's here? Hi Kylie. Hi Jade. Hi Lana. Hi Roll Bobby. Hi Davina. Hi Vicky. Hi Subri. Hi Bobbert. Hi Natasha. Hi Amy. Hi guys. Sorry I'm so late. I was just watching the Olivia Newton-John tribute and I was like, oh my God. I just realized what the time was. Hi, Stacey. Hi, Agnieszka. I don't know if I'm saying your name right. Hi, guys. What's going on? So many questions. Hi, Marie. All right, let's get comfortable. I was finishing off the website. I realized I was doing the website and I realized I kind of made it for all you guys who know me already, but there was no explanation on the main page of like what the hell it is I do. And I was like, I really need to put that there. So I've just spent all day doing that. Hey Loz, hope all is well. Currently back at a third time persisting in subconscious manifesting. The other two times was because I got triggered. This time is different because I know what I need to do now. Part two, subconscious number one focus, wonderful. And being in the knowledge that what I affirm manifest will always present itself in 3D. I'm 100% focusing on myself physically and mentally. My mental diet has doubled. Every day is different, up and down, but still persistent in this that I know it will work in my favor. Good. I can't go back to the unknown. I'm lucky I got into your TikTok. Good, darling. Part four, changed my life. Oh, wonderful. So going forward, I seem to get it all back to how I want it, SP and myself and how others treat me. But then I get either triggered of why it isn't more than friends or why she is holding back, etc. My question is, how do we go forward once our SPs to come back? Okay. So when they come back, this is the thing that used to fuck people up in a lot of other groups I used to watch, other manifestation groups. Okay. So what happens is, guys, because people haven't fixed their triggers, they've just concentrated on manifesting the person, but then their triggers get triggered and then they blow up at the person or ask them where it's going or assume the person's distancing or start a fight or the other person starts a fight and then you lose them again. And that was the constant cycle I used to watch. And that's the constant cycle that happened to me. Because when I was watching other people, I realized what they weren't concentrating on was fixing the problem. They were giving you the icing, which was SP affirmations, focusing on the SP, getting them back, getting them back, getting them back, changing the circumstances out here instead of changing you. And when I realized the principle of manifestation is change you to change the world, I realized what that truly meant, that everyone simply reflects me. And until I change me, nothing will change. So when they come back, Kylie, the thing you're already doing, which is working on your triggers, figuring out what they are and keeping on top of them and not being triggered is the key. It's all very well to know what your triggers are, but it's not getting triggered in the 3D, muting yourself or allowing yourself to express a feeling about how you're feeling without blame. Right? So, say your person's come back and they're acting distant. Instead of accusing them of acting distant, you can imagine them differently without saying anything, or you can express a feeling like, I love spending time with you, rather than saying, why don't you spend more time with me? You know what I mean? Or it feels so good to spend time with you, right? So long as there's no agenda behind what you're saying. You can be very careful when you're verbalizing something in the 3D if you're trying to mutate out here and change the 3D by talking. You've got to do it in your mind first, right? That's the key here, guys, that you do everything in your mind. Half the time saying something just fucks it up. So it's better to say fucking nothing as far as I'm concerned, in my experience and from the experienced people in the group. But if you can express a feeling and discuss things by talking about you rather than them, that's how it works, okay? Does that make sense? Hi, Jade, part one. Hi, Loz. Been focusing on self concept more and it's reflected back by others. Just found SP is now with another girl. Didn't expect this. Found out some things he did both times we were together. I've been crying but trying to think of new story and affirmations of SP when he comes to mind. And mostly self concept, but keep replaying our time together and some lies he told. Oh, okay. Where should I go from here? I never considered a third party or worried about it. Do I just forget that I heard and keep persisting? Yes. Also, people are speaking about it with me, trying to ignore this too. Just say you don't want to talk about it. Part four feels like I've been dumped all over again 7 months later, finally hearing some truth as to why he left. Oh, okay. I assumed he was single and all would be fine, that he would come back. This is a shock. Okay, look, guys, I know it's a shock when you find out about a third party. It really is. Especially if you've been manifesting them and then you see a picture or you hear something. It's horrible. It's a horrible feeling. I know that feeling. But what you've got to understand is that you don't have to have thought of the third party for one to come along. You just have to have thought he didn't want me. He doesn't want me. So if he doesn't want me, he must want something else. Something else, right? That's all you need to think, or just I'm not chosen, or I get rejected, or relationships don't work out, and then they just won't work out. You don't have to have thought of the exact scenario that ends up occurring for it to occur. Okay. So, what I need you to figure out then, Jade, is how did you get in a situation where he was lying? Did you have a story that he kept things from you or was secretive, or you couldn't trust him? Might be that. Did you have a story that he had issues and he wasn't showing his whole self to you? What's going on there that he was lying to you? And that's to do with you, childhood stuff where you feel like you can't trust people, or you feel like you don't get what you want, or you feel like things don't work out for you, something. Okay. So try and work out what that is. And then if you do still want him back and circumstances don't matter, see you and him together, but work out what it was you were thinking that caused the breakup in the first place. Have you done that part? Hello, Loz. I don't even remember any of my recent comments on your lives. I was able to manifest my ex and we were better than ever, and our relationship is perfect. Oh, wonderful. But something happened. He had my phone and saw messages from platonic guy friends of mine that I've known for years and were just friends, and messages were jokingly flirty. He was devastated. Oh, no, Lana. Don't worry, darling. Where's part three? There's no part three. Something me. Also, I have this inner fear that even if we got back together and solved this, he wouldn't be able to trust me, or he wouldn't care to be faithful to me anymore. And I just couldn't stop crying, kept affirming that we stay together, even though he said there's no future after this. Oh no. And he can't forgive it. Well, we kind of fixed it, except for one thing. He said he needs time to fully forgive me. I realized that, but I want us to go back to being deeply connected and loving, because our relationship was perfect and we are going to go back talking about getting engaged. Look, darling, I don't know what part three was. It's completely disappeared. But what I need you to do is stop blaming yourself for that. Okay. You're thinking it's ruined everything. It hasn't. Have you got a story that he's jealous? Have you got a story that he's sensitive? Have you got a story that he's threatened by other guys? Have you got a story that he's super uber protective of your relationship and he's scared it's going to fall apart again? Or what's your story about him? That might be why that occurred, why he reacted the way he did. He's volatile, he gets angry easily, he's got issues, he's sensitive. What's your story about him? Okay, change it and just change the story to the reason why he reacted that way is because he's so deeply, madly in love with me. He can't stand the idea of anybody else being with me and me being with anybody else. He's totally forgiven and forgotten the whole thing. He realizes it was just his triggers triggering him, and he forgives me because he knows it had nothing to do with me and I hadn't done anything wrong. I'm not wrong. I don't do things wrong. There's nothing wrong with me. Say those things, Lana, and see you and him back together. Okay, back and better than ever, forgiven and forgotten. Okay. I know he loves me and I want commitment. So how can I drive that in? I'm working on getting rid of the old story. I promise I'm doing the work. What do you mean drive it in? Sounds like a chore you're doing here, darling. Also, he constantly says that I've replaced him or jokes about me having other guys. Where does that fit in with my self-concept or story about him? He knows I want him and him only. Well, if you've got a story that he's jealous or something, kind of same thing as the last thing. What do you mean drive it in? Royal Barbie, why are you assuming you're not committed? A lot of you come in here assuming non-commitment. And I don't care what they're saying. You've got to assume commitment regardless of what's happening or what they're saying. Why aren't you assuming that? Whose super chat is this? Hi, Jeanette. Hello, Lois. What aspect of self-concept causes men to send intimate photos and want to talk sexually? I'm working on my core self-concept, nothing else. To send intimate photos to you and talk sexually to you, that's a whole lot of this is all I'm good for. I'm not good enough. Sex is all I've got to offer because without that, they won't want me because I'm not enough as I am. If you see yourself purely as a sexual being, then, or that's all you have to offer, then that'll occur. If you also see that person as sexually, really into sexual stuff and horny as hell, and that's all he's into and that's all he wants, then that's how he'll turn up. But you can also lap it up and be like, well, they're attracted to me and they're sexually attracted to me and this is the way they are to me and it's their way of showing love to me. Like, guys, a lot of you read into sexual stuff in a bad way rather than taking it as a compliment of thinking, oh, he's turned on by me. Oh, he's so turned on by me, he's sending me one of his pics today. Don't take it a bad way. Don't get offended by it, right? I used to roll my eyes when I used to go out with girls all the time and guys would crack onto me like that. And I'd be like, oh, again, right? And then I realized it was my story about it. When my other friends would be so excited about the guys cracking onto them and I'd be like, oh, this again, right? But I had a story that's what used to happen to me. And so it kept happening because that was my story. Like, don't you want a relationship with me? You just want to get laid. So I had that story. So that's what kept happening, right? If I'd had a different story, I would have had a different experience. Just the Alex. I want to know if it's possible, it's always possible, to manifest two SPs. Yes, darling. I'm wanting a lovely poly relationship with a couple. I never heard about polyamory in the manifesting community. There's a whole success story about it in my success story live, darling, on my Facebook. So I wanted to bring up the topic. Yes, it's in the success story live. So if you put in hashtag success story or success story live in the Facebook group, you'll be able to watch. And if you get to a girl called Opji, she talks about that. It is. Anything's possible, darling. Nothing is impossible to you if you can imagine it. So just imagine yourself in a beautiful polyamorous relationship and it all working out for everybody and everyone's happy with it. Loz, I found out this guy I met and kind of like is homophobic. Oh no, darling. Also trying to manifest getting a new job on time crunch because I hate my current one being getting a lot of interviews. I haven't heard anything back yet. We'll just see yourself having the job. But guys, if you find out something like that about someone, see them differently, decide they're not like that, decide you misheard them or they've decided to enter the 21st century and they realize that's not the way to think and they're wrong. You know what I mean? Like you just know that no one would ever say anything like that in your presence and you don't attract anybody who's like that. And see yourself with the job, darling. Morning, Loz. Do you believe in manifesting in steps or just going for your end desire? I go for the end desire because that's how Neville taught it. But if you want to do it in steps, do it in steps. It's up to you. Just want to share in case this might help someone. If your 3D is going great, but your manifestation is 100% there, still focus on the end goal rather than changing things in 3D, e.g. seeing SP. Exactly, Davina. Multiple times, e.g. seeing SP multiple times a week. Oh, you mean going right to the end like we're married rather than we see each other a lot? Well, I mean, look, sometimes it's hard. Look, I know from my experience with my old SP, when we got back together, I did find it hard to go right to the end. So I did do a lot of manifesting in steps just for each time we saw each other. I kind of wanted this now, or this now, or this now. I did do that because I was so overwhelmed by the fact that the 3D was throwing me that I manifested in steps. However, that also didn't help me. I should have just gone to the end. So you can do it either way. I have done it both ways, but I do find going to the end better. Otherwise, you get caught up in the step, and then when the step doesn't occur, you get thrown. When you heavily focus on your self-concept, is it normal to not want to do SP affirmations? Yes. I feel amazing and a different person that I just want to put all the energy into me and not him. It's absolutely normal, Jess. It's what people experience in my group that they've never experienced before because no one's told them to do that before. Right? Is it playing right now? What are we talking about? The Olivia Newton-John thing? No. Oh, do you mean live? Realizing I self-sabotage my whole life has been beating myself up, but also working hard against it. The beating up is what I wasted in life and realizing what I lost, but I know I can manifest it all now. Good, Marie. Look, guys, the beating yourself up stuff, like if I use the example of a person who totally misunderstood a text conversation we had a couple of months ago, I beat myself up. I sent apology text to this person. And then I woke up one morning and thought, you know what? That person's childhood made them read my text with the lens over their eyeballs that I was saying something different than what I was saying. I did not say anything wrong. They totally and completely misunderstood me. And instead of saying, Loz, what do you mean by that? They jumped to an enormous assumption, a bad assumption, and got triggered. And that had nothing to do with me. The only thing it had to do with me was that it's me pushed out, thinking that I had upset them because I think I upset people easily and trigger them, and therefore this person got triggered. Right? But I decided to stop beating myself up after that, after beating myself up and realizing I had literally done nothing wrong except try to help this person. And because of their lens from childhood, which is what I was trying to explain to them, which was the whole point of the conversation, like your lens from your childhood is fucking up your life, then they still read the text with that lens. So I clearly had a story that their lens was fucking them up, clearly had a story they get upset, clearly had a story they had that lens over their eyes. And so what did they have? The lens over their eyes when they read my texts. So all I could do was accept that that had happened because that's the thinking I had about them. And the thinking I had about myself was I upset people, I trigger people. So I forgave myself afterwards instead of beating myself up as I usually do. Right, Marie? So that's what you got to do. Good. Hang on, guys. Where am I? Where am I? Oh, God. Lost my place completely. Hi, everyone. Terrific Tuesday. Happy Terrific Tuesday. I was about to ask Sally. I'm here. I was delayed. Hi, Loz. Lately, I've been feeling less interested in SP and CBA mood about him. Can't be asked. Yep. I'm focusing more on self-concept. I've accepted that it's done. Me and SP are married, and is this a good thing? That's wonderful, Denisha. Wonderful. Guys, if you can't be asked, that's indifference. That's what Neville calls indifference. It's wonderful. It's like, I know you'll be back, so I'm not worried. I've fallen out of the Sabbath. What is the best way to get back into it? Just affirmations, guys? Yes, but also just sometimes accept, okay, I might not live there forever. Sometimes the 3D throws me. Sometimes life happens. Okay, but I'm not going to stay in this dwelling place of being thrown. I'm going to go back in the Sabbath. It's not something necessarily you can stay in all the time, guys. So don't beat yourself up if you have. A lot of people are teaching you states like it's something you're constantly in and you never, ever stray from it. Well, I'm sorry. I've seen a whole lot of people who think they're in this new good state, straying from their state with negative comments in my videos and shit. I'm like, you aren't in any kind of fucking state at all that's good. You're hella triggered still. How are you in a good state? Don't be thrown, guys, if you jump out of it. It's okay. It's normal. It's life. Hey, Loz. Me and my speaker used to talk, and it's been a year since we stopped because I was in a relationship, but she wanted to be friends, so I wanted to respect her partner and stop talking to her. I want to reconnect with her because I think she's single now. So should I message her or affirm, visualize, live in the end, being in a relationship with her and let her come to me? Look, guys, either way, I can't tell you what to do in the 3D. I know in the example of John Johnson, who's about to get married, he decided to message his SP on her birthday and send her flowers, right? Or he just sent her flowers. That was his way of reconnecting with her after their breakup. And now they're engaged and about to get married in a week, right? Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It depends on what your thinking is about it. John felt incredibly confident in doing that, and he was indifferent to the outcome. He was kind of like, oh, well, she messaged me back. Otherwise, I'm just doing this because I love her and I wanted to know I love her and I'm thinking of her on her birthday, right? Which is very different than I'm doing this to get a reaction out of you and trying to get us back together. You can do it with confidence, knowing that you will not be thrown by the outcome, or you know the outcome in your mind, then do it. But if not, don't. How do we live in the mind? Guys, you just got to not look out here so much, not be thrown by out here so much, okay? Imagine as much as you possibly can being the person you want to be now. Imagine you are that person. See the world from the eyeballs of that person. Imagine it's happening now. But that's what separates you from the others. It's easier to say what's your triggers, but sometimes we don't know what our triggers are. I've learned so much about myself and my triggers through you. Oh, good, darling. Yeah, look, don't be triggered is an easy thing to say to someone. Don't be triggered. Well, I don't even know what I'm fucking getting triggered by. I didn't even know until recently, that I really, really, really have a story that I upset people. And so I was triggering others with that story. So it wasn't even me getting triggered. It was a story I was holding that I wasn't even aware I was holding. And I had to keep digging and digging and digging and digging and think, where's this coming from, this me triggering people thing? Oh, I know, because I've got a story that there's something wrong with me and I do things wrong. Oh, fuck. Shit. Right? So you've got to know not only the story you hold about yourself, but then what that story does to trigger you. That's the thing that you'll find out in my self-concept course, guys, because you'll do the assessment and you'll be like, oh, fuck, I do this. This is the shit I do. Oh, Jesus. Okay, what do I do about it? Right? Okay, that's great, darling. Shalini. Hi, Loz. I've been feeling really good and my self-concept is amazing. I'm manifesting SP. I can feel I deserve better, but he said to me, I do deserve better and that's not him. Should I keep affirming? I can feel I deserve better. Why don't you decide he's better? If you want him, decide he's better. If you want better, then go find better. Manifest better. Guys, you either want your person or you don't want your person. If you still think you could do better than him, then I think you've got the wrong person. You know what I mean? Like when you're fully in love with someone and you think they're the fucking ants pants and they're the person you want to marry, you don't think, I think I deserve better. That's, I attracted you when my self-concept was bad and you will do for now. But I actually, now that I've changed my self-concept, I think I could do better. Well, then forget about that fuckwit if you can't change him in your mind and find someone new. That's my answer about that, guys. Because a lot of you are still trying to change a person you've got a really bad story about, and actually a new person would fully reflect your new self-concept, but you're still holding that old story about them that they aren't good enough and you can do better. So if you can't change the story, find someone else. Been working on self-concept and things have been really well with SP, but he told me last night he was going to go on holidays for his birthday and I broke out in tears all of a sudden despite doing well. What self-concept issues does my random outbreak reflect? Or did you feel rejected? Do you feel like, why aren't you bringing me with you? Did you feel like, what does that mean? You're not committed to me? Was it that he wasn't loving you, wasn't paying you attention, wasn't prioritizing you, wasn't choosing you? Which is it? Any of those things. When you think SP isn't interested or abandoning you, When you think SP isn't interested, would that be a core self-concept around not being good enough, not wanted, chosen, etc.? If you think you're not interested in you, like they're distracted by other things, don't want you, not attracted to you, yes, absolutely. Good evening, Lois. Oh, sometimes we've cocooned ourselves and buried ourselves so much we don't even know we have triggers. I didn't know I was afraid I would be cheated on. Oh, look, the amount of things I see in people, especially my friends, that I realize they aren't aware of their own stuff. And because I'm aware of it, I find it very hard not to verbalize it to them, like what their stuff is. It takes all my strength sometimes with my friends not to point it out to them. All my fucking strength, because I spend all day sitting here pointing it out to you guys. But I can see the problem plain as fucking day. And I've spent my whole life doing that. And I used to fucking trigger people. I used to be at parties, and the next minute someone would be crying and someone would go, Loz, what have you done? And I'd be like, oh, sorry, I just said maybe it's this. And the next minute they burst out crying, right? Because I've always had this ability to read people for what's going on, like see past their onion layers. I think because I used to have so many layers around me, I was so good at hiding things that I could tell a liar, a person hiding stuff, a person with a mask on at 20 paces. Like I people find it very hard to lie to me because I will figure out the lie almost immediately, right? So that's, I think, why I'm good at this, because I've always been good at it, because I was a consummate liar and layer haver, right? I used to have so many masks on, half the time I didn't know who the fuck I was, right? And so now I've taken them all off. I find it very easy to see other people's or see their triggers or see their problem, right? Which is annoying for some people, I guess, and why I end up triggering people in some of the lives. Hi, your energy, your info, and style are changing my self concept live. Oh, wonderful, darling. Thank you. You do have any advice for me with bulimia? 20 years in, so many different therapies, and still no change. Okay, where's the rest of this? Is that it? Yet. Yeah, yet. Okay, darling, listen. The thing about bulimia or binge eating or any kind of eating disorder is a lack of control, right? That you feel a lack of control over yourself. So, at any point, did anyone ever try and control you, i.e., abuse you, sexual abuse, hurt you in some way, mentally, physically, verbally? Okay. And therefore, you felt out of control in your body, in yourself. And so you took upon yourself something that made you feel like you were in control, because that person or circumstance or situation made you feel like you weren't in control of your body or yourself, right? That's the first thing. The second thing can be just a deep self hatred. And so you can't almost try and like starve yourself, whatever, or you just feel deeply not good enough. And so that is your way of being enough. That you think, if I'm thin enough, I'll be enough. If I'm this, if I'm that, then I'll be enough. When I'm this, then I'll be enough. Right? And then once you start, you find it hard to stop, because you've decided in your mind that's the way to be enough. So it's either that or the control thing. So decide which is it, darling. And then you've got to make affirmations that are the opposite of that. I'm in full control of the feelings I feel. I don't let my fears overtake me. I know I'm in full control of my life. No one can tell me what to do. I'm in control. I own this body and I tell it what to do, and no one has control over me, and nothing has control over me. My mind doesn't even have control over me. There's me and my mind, and I can tell my mind what to do. I run my mind. These are just thoughts in my mind from someone else that someone put in here. So a parent or an uncle or a teacher or my siblings. These are just voices of the people in my head who told me I was fat or abused me or told me I wasn't good enough. They're their voices. I'm not fucking listening to their voices. I'm listening to me. Guys, you've got to understand the voices in your head aren't your own. They're voices that were put in there and they've stayed there, and you think it's you talking. It's not. There's you and there's the voices. Stop listening to the fucking voices, darling. And anytime you hear them, you tell them what to do. You run this body. You run this ship of you. You be the captain of your own fate. Okay? Hey, Loz, me and my SP used to talk, and it's been years since we stopped because I saw the one. I'd put that on the website. Ads, what you do, you help us learn about ourselves, specifically triggers. Oh, yes, that's a good idea, darling. That I help you learn about your triggers. Yes, specifically triggers. Yes, that's a good idea. I'll do that. Yeah, because I said it today about I pinpoint what the problems are, and then maybe I'll say and what they continue to be when you get triggered. Yes. Yeah, you're on. I just thought to myself, I wonder if Loz is on and bam, you here. Yes. Remember to hit the like button. Oh, thanks, Leanne. I don't start anything sexual. It's not my thing. It just makes me feel uncomfortable. Thank you, Loz. Okay, so if you don't want that, Janet, then maybe you've got a story that that's all men want. If you got that story, that's why they're turning up that way. So decide they're romantic with you now. They're sweet to you. They don't want sex from you. They want to hang out with you. They want to get to know you. Decide that about men. Hi, Loz. Thanks for everything. Wanted to ask you, what could be the reason why I cannot open myself up to people romantically? After my last relationship, I didn't have romantic desires anymore to people. Is it because you're afraid of getting hurt? Is it because you're afraid they'll get to know you? When they know me, they won't want me. So I keep myself shut off. I don't allow love in. Either I'm afraid to get hurt or I'm afraid to get to know me. One of the two. Which is it? Debbie, part one. I'm sure you remember my post about a month ago on Facebook. As you said, I was in victim mode. I completely disagree. I just couldn't understand what was going on. I was at the end of my rope. I dislike sympathy, being pitied and attention. I've never been the oh, woe is me person. I never post just to get attention. In fact, it was embarrassing for me to ask for help from the what? From the group? Darling, when I say victim mode, I'm not saying you did it for attention. You don't understand what victim mode means. Victim mode isn't an expression I would use to say you are seeking attention and empathy and sympathy. I mean, you are saying the world outside you is the circumstance that you can't change, and therefore your life is out of control. That's what victim mode is. I am the victim of circumstance. The whole point of my account is no, you're not. You created the circumstances. If you can't accept that, you may as well not be on this live, because that is the whole principle of manifestation. You are the only cause. If you don't get that, you will be in victim mode because you'll be victimized by your own creation. Is that what you're saying? Because if you're saying I was saying victim mode as in you're seeking validation and attention, that's not what I meant. So yet again, your ears are hearing only what you want to hear, and your eyes are seeing through the lens of no one understands me. I'm not heard. I'm not seen. I'm not listened to. I'm not understood. And you're accusing me of not even understanding you and accusing you of being a victim when I wasn't doing anything of the sort, and you're not even hearing me. Is that what's happening? Which is still victim mode, which is I'm now victimizing you, was I? I was victimizing you with my statement, was I? You completely disagreed with me, did you? Oh, guess what? No, that's what victims do. You don't understand me. I wasn't seeking attention. I was just in the group asking questions. It took a lot of strength for me to ask a question, and you're victimizing me, and you're making I wasn't. You get it? This isn't the place for people who can't take responsibility for the way the world is showing up. If you can't take responsibility for the way your world has shown up, then this is not the account for you, darling. That's what we do here. That's how this works. Right? Is that what you're trying to say? Because that's not what I mean by victim mode. I mean, we are not victims of our own reality. We create it. So unfortunately, whatever the fuck's shown up, we created. So we can't go yelling at it and being annoyed at it and being a victim of it because we caused it. Is that what you mean? Where's the rest of your question? Explain, dinky little dinky D, because I don't understand what the point of these comments are. Is it to tell me off for calling you a victim? Victim mode is the opposite of manifestation, consciously. It's being a victim of your own thoughts. Victim. Conscious manifestation, taking control of thinking. You're either out of control thinking or in control of your thinking. Which are you? This is victim. This is creator. Are you a creator or a reactor? At the moment, you sound like a reactive victim, which is the opposite of what we're trying to do here. Where's the rest of your question? Is that what you're getting at? Because if you are, do you understand what I'm saying now? Are you trying not to be insulted? Are you hearing me? Or are you still insulted? You got insulted lens over your eyes. I'm insulted. I'm hurt. Is that what's happening? You won't get far here, darling, if you feel insulted by me. I'm only here to help. I'm not here to hurt. Sometimes I can be blunt, but it's from love. Because I used to be a whingy, whiny victim of my own circumstances that I didn't realize I caused. It's fucking painful. You get to 45 and you think, what have I done with my life? Don't be like that. I want to reconnect with her because I think she's single now. Oh, I saw that one. Loz, I don't want SP anymore. I want someone new. Well, do that and better. Why is that? Because you stepped up, darling. Your self-concept's better. Is it because my self-concept's on fire? Yep, it can happen. Oh, 100% just found that for me at least. I got so caught up in manifesting the steps instead of 100% I'm chosen. Yep, sometimes the steps can really fuck with you. 3D totally gone back over, but hey, whatever. Pretty calm about it and living in my head. Oh, good, Jill. Well, look, If 3D's gone back over, I don't know what you mean by that, but if it's gone backwards, then look at it and think, what in this 3D is showing me what I still need to change? Do I still feel unchosen and therefore people aren't choosing me? Do I still have a dominant assumption that I do things wrong and people are getting upset with me? Oh, fuck, I still need to change that, don't I? Moved into my new rental last week. Dog did diarrhea on the carpet today, and tonight I flooded the laundry, which flooded the carpet also. Far out why? Well, maybe that was the universe's way of cleaning your carpet, darling. Guys, a lot of the time when things like that happen, it's because you've got a dominant story that things go wrong, okay? I hope things don't go wrong. So I'll tell you the story about when I went to Africa. Anything that could have gone wrong went wrong. So I had this story before we went to Africa that we really need to get insurance because Africa's really dangerous. I had a dominant assumption we're going to get robbed. We got robbed. I had a dominant assumption things go wrong in Africa and you need insurance, and a whole lot of shit went wrong. I got money stolen. I got my credit card swiped. I got all our bags stolen on the last night we were there. All our photos, everything. I flooded a hotel room. What else happened? It was hilarious. Everything that could have gone wrong went wrong. Oh, our shark dive was cancelled. Anything that could have gone wrong went wrong because I had a dominant assumption that in Africa things go wrong. You've got to be protected in Africa because it's Africa. I fucking got that from. And then if my brother was like, the night we got robbed, the night before I told him a story about how someone at that camp got robbed on a review I read. And he goes, well, great. What are you putting that out in the universe for? Great. Good one. And the next day we got robbed. He looked at me like, you fucking did that. Did you do things like that, Penny? Like, think this is too good to be true. Hope nothing goes wrong. Or hope my dog doesn't destroy the place. A few months ago, my niece was ignoring me like crazy, of course, because I thought she was, and now we're best friends. After I realized what I was doing, I started saying we are BFFs and let it go. Wonderful, darling, wonderful. You've got to change the story about them. I've changed my story of my cat. So tonight, when we went out for a walk, the dog and I, she ran out, and I was like, I'm going to decide that when we come back from the walk, she's going to be here waiting for us. And she completely disappeared. I don't know where she went for the walk, came back. She was sitting at the door like, let me in. I'm outside in the world. And I was like, good. Because in my head a couple of weeks ago, I was scared she was going to run off. And now I've decided she knows this is her home. And she goes outside for a little bit. She comes straight back. Change the story. And they'll change. Even your cats will change. I send the story of my culture upbringing, that I wasn't good enough, why I try, why do anything. Changing the story and seeing people different. Good, Marie. And look, the cultural background of feeling like you can't do anything right, nothing's ever good enough, they're strict, you need to live up to their expectations, blah, blah, blah. They'll fuck you in the ass until you change it, Marie. Wonderful. Hi, Loz. Happy Women's Day. Oh, it's Women's Day. Oh, I didn't even know. What is your opinion about spirit guides and higher selves? Thank you. You're your own higher self, guys. You have source within you, right? But if you want to decide that there's spirit around you guiding you, then do that. I know there's spirit around me because I've seen it, right? So I used to be such a skeptic, but then when I actually saw one of my dead friends and he's walking around his own funeral, I was like, oh. And then another person saw him sitting in the same spot I saw him, and I went, okay, maybe this is real. And then my last two houses had spirit in them. So I do believe that everyone's still spirit, but whether they guide you is up to you, whether you decide that. Also, I haven't spoken with my SP since he left for vacation. He was also going on vacation for the summer. I know he loves me and is obsessed with me and will contact me when he's back. Good, darling. Think that. I've been working on myself in the meantime a lot. Wonderful. But I want to also change my story of him in the meantime. I've noticed he was very flip-floppy about relationships, saying he wants one and then changing his mind. He was also very flip-floppy about relationships at the time, and now I keep affirming that he wants to be together and we are together, but having some doubt still because I'm opening myself up to the idea of relationships again. I have his previous abandonment issues from my old friends and old relationships as well as family. So I created a lot of trust issues that I'm trying to work through. Guys, if you have abandonment stuff, you'll also have trust issues. So the fear of them leaving will cause you to not trust them to stay. It's not trusting them to cheat or whatever. It's not trusting they'll stay. And you might come up with a whole lot of scenarios why they won't stay, right? So you've really got to work on that, darling. Otherwise, any little thing they do will throw you and make you not trust them or make you assume, abandonment. Really work on that, darling, rather than focusing on him, okay? Where am I? I've always been jealous of my sister. She's taller, thinner, pretty to stop saying that. Outgoing, everyone loves her. I'd like to think I'm over it, but yes, Stacey, where's the rest? But we won't. Stacey, stop that. You're not 15 anymore. Decide that doesn't matter anymore. That was just a story you had about her, and you're not going to think that about you anymore. Right? If you have a story that someone's better than you, everywhere you go, that person will get attention. I remember I used to do that with my old best friend at high school. And my ex-boyfriend, my first ever boyfriend, ended up falling in love with her after we were together. Right? And I found out years later that he actually was in love with her. And I was like, oh, and that's my story of not being chosen, being reflected by my own ex-boyfriend. Right? Now, if I see her, I don't feel that way at all with her because I've changed my story about myself. Right? But at the time, I used to feel like the unchosen, uglier friend, the loud, chatty friend, and she was the softly spoken, pretty friend. Right? And so I constantly not felt like that with her. And now I realize that whole unchosen thing with the boyfriend was all about me. It had nothing to do with her. So that's you not feeling chosen, not feeling prioritized, not feeling good enough, not feeling chosen even by your parents or other people, Stacey. It's got nothing to do with your fucking sister. And if you continue with that story, it'll happen with friends, with colleagues, with other girls for the rest of your life until you change that story. And you'll constantly allow that to affect your relationship with your sister. Where's part 2? Is there another part? I can't see it. How do you make women more attractive to you and talk to you? Well, just start saying they're so attracted to me. Everyone wants to talk to me when I go out. Women are flocking all over me. They're all over me. No time to myself when I'm out. I've been working on myself in the meantime a lot, but also want to change the story. Oh, yes, I saw all that. Eileen, hi, Loz, you're amazing. Oh, thank you, darling. Thank you for your help in seeing our issues. I was chubby kid and always told I had a pretty face for a fat kid. Oh, fuck those people. I think that's why I feel I am not good enough if my weight is not perfect. Of course, darling. There's a real phenomena where people who are overweight as children still see themselves that way as adults, even if they're rake thin. Rake thin. I have a friend who I had no idea as a child she was hugely overweight. And she told me one day, and when she told me, it was like ding, 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 a whole lot of stuff made sense for me about her. But I never knew because she was so skinny. There was no way she could have been this fat kid, right? But she allowed herself and she said, I still see that kid in the mirror sometimes when I look in the mirror. And I thought, oh no, right? So, darling, if I were you, I would read this book called Cybernetics. And this is about the Dr. Maxwell Maltz, who was a plastic surgeon. He would change people's bodies and their faces. And because their old story dominated, their old self-image, their old self-concept, they wouldn't see themselves differently even when they were different, when they looked different. Read this and then do my self-concept course. And just say, I'm perfect the way I am. That's the old me. I'm the new me now. I don't see myself that way. No one else sees me that way. They see the new me. Say that, darling. I lost the trust in men generally. I find that I'm a complex person and might be hard to handle, and my life is good at the moment and I don't need a man. However, I still think about my ex and would like him back. All right. You are hard to handle. Okay, well, LA. Guys, there's a real phenomena with some women, and I used to be like this, that being tough and strong is admirable. I would say, honestly, that it's the most, now, having been that person most of my life, it's the least admirable thing to be. It's the least brave way to live. It means you're not allowing the world to show who you really are, see who you really are, and you've got a massive wall around yourself as protection, and you're using strength and being hard to handle and complexity as the excuse to not let anyone in and not trust anybody. And so no one will be let in and no one will get to know you, and you'll secretly be craving people to actually know you and see you and hear you and understand you, but they won't because you won't fucking let them in. And after a while, people give up because you've been so hurt. And you need to own that and decide you're going to let people really see you because you're enough as you are and you're beautiful just the way you are, and you can trust people not to hurt you, or you continue to carry the wall around you that you hold, the mask on your face, and people never get to know you and you're never vulnerable and you'll die this person who's just fucking with a big fat wall around them. And trust me, I used to do that and I let no one in, and I used to have a feeling that no one knew me, and if they really knew me, they'd be shocked. I had a nervous breakdown once in England. No one noticed. Except one person who I barely knew said, are you all right? You don't seem yourself. My best friends didn't notice. No one noticed. I was that good at putting a wall around myself. That's what you're doing. It's no way to live, darling. So discover why you're like that. Figure that out and decide, I don't need the walls that protect me anymore. I'm letting my walls down brick by brick. I'm letting people really see me. And when they see me and know me, they love me. They love the real me. I can trust people with my heart now. Say those things, darling. She got one of my daughters her perfect job, which she was told she wouldn't get, and my other daughter was perfect apartment in Spain where she moved. Everything I said apartment would be was. Oh, Nicola, what happened? Is there another part of this that I missed? Oh, that's wonderful. Got one of your daughters a perfect job, which you told she wouldn't get it, and your other daughter the perfect apartment in Spain. Oh, wonderful. Everything you said happened. Congratulations, you did that. Lots help. I'm working on subconcept whilst being in a relationship, and my partner said he doesn't want to get married due to his previous marriage divorce being very ugly in a custody battle. Who cares, darling? Doesn't matter what they say. Right? Doesn't matter what they say. They can say that and still marry you. It doesn't matter. It's your story that you're holding that that's true. Oh, yeah, that's right. Things don't work out for me. I'm not chosen. I'm not wanted. If you decided you were chosen, that guy would forget that story tomorrow. Trust me, I've been there. No, not at all. I've been with you from the start. Yes, I was only reacting. I just didn't know what to do. You have definitely helped me. Okay, good. Right, part 3. I don't know why I didn't post. I said that I lost my SP and his funeral was Saturday and I couldn't bring myself to go. I'm feeling a bit guilty. Oh, no, darling. Okay, so you couldn't bring yourself to go. Why? Because you'd get too emotional or you get too upset in front of people or you just couldn't face it, or that's okay. That's understandable. Grief's hard, darling. Grief's hard. And grieve. In grieving. Guys, I'm not telling anyone here to not live in the 3D of grief. You've got to feel the feelings you feel, okay? And don't feel guilty. Don't beat yourself up. Decide that everyone understands, and he understands. He's here in spirit and he understands. Talk to him, darling. He hasn't gone anywhere. You don't need to go to someone's funeral to say goodbye to them. Trust me. My granddad's had his funeral. I was in London. All my grandparents' funerals I missed because I was in London. I felt enormous guilt for not being there. But my granddad appeared to someone in a bloody psychic reading weeks after his funeral, didn't even know the person, but the person knew my brother's new girlfriend, now fiance's mum, and said, she came out of the psychic reading and said, has your daughter's new boyfriend's granddad just died? And she goes, yeah, why? And she goes, oh, he just wanted everyone to know he's all right and just to let everyone know. And we were like, oh, thanks for that. Because none of us got to say goodbye to him because it was very sudden. So they're still here. I really need this course of self-concept. I get this about how I've manifested my shit show, but how do I undo it? So guys, undo it with the exact same thinking that you thought. Just flip it. Right? So whatever you're thinking before that caused the shit show, like you don't want me, you don't love me, things don't work out for me, I'm not good enough, I'm never chosen, I'm not prioritized, I'm a priority, you choose me, you want me, you can only have eyes for me, no one compares to me, I'm so unique, I'm this, I'm that, the opposite of what the fuck you were thinking. Thank you so much. You answered my bulimia question. Had both stories you explained running from childhood abuse. Oh, really? Your affirmation suggestions hit home. Thank you. You're pretty amazing. Oh, really, darling? Oh, look, when someone's abused you, they've taken away your ability to have control over your own body. Okay? When they physically or sexually abused you. So that's why bulimia will be the answer. Or any kind of eating disorder. Because someone took your control away, darling. This is my body. No one has control over my body but me. I tell it what to do. Wonderful. How do we know what our dominant assumptions are? Well, when you do the self-concept assessment, darling, you'll know. But sit down and write your thoughts for 20 minutes and then read it. Is there a theme going on? Like, I'm not chosen, I'm not good enough, things never work out for me, I always fuck things up. Then you'll know. Loz, what is the lion portal everyone's banging on about? Fucking hell. I actually don't even fucking know what this even is meant to be. What's a portal that opens in the universe because of a special day of the year? Like a black hole that opens or something. It's so ridiculous. Darling, it just means because people have decided 2 8s together is significant, like an angel number, the 8th of the 8th, suddenly something in the universe is happening. The universe has got fucking nothing to do with manifesting. So anyone who's talking about astrology or portals or opening of portals to do with manifestation is a fucking moron because it's just your mind doing it. So if you believe in the Lionsgate portal helping you and that the 8th of the 8th is the most powerful manifestation date of the year, it will be for you because you think it is. That's how this works. It's simply how it works. So a whole lot of people say, but I manifest on the 8th. The 8th will work for me. Yes, because you believed in it, you silly bitch. That's how this works. It's your belief in it. You understand? It's not the fucking portal. Right? What can I affirm to change the story about feeling abandoned, that I'm chosen? Thank you. No one ever abandoned me. The major story about being abandoned comes from childhood where I was sexually abused by my brothers. Oh, but my parents and cousins chose their side over me. I've talked about it in therapy, but I still have this family around me constantly until I leave for school next year, and it can be triggering still. Oh, darling, I still feel uncomfortable around my brothers, especially one of them who never admitted to what he did, and then my parents and cousins didn't believe me. I've also gone through many other instances of sexual assault. Oh, darling. Okay. So, okay, by brothers. Oh, God, Jesus. Okay, darling, look, I know people that that's happened to where they've gone to their parents and they haven't been believed. It's like the worst thing that could possibly happen. So it's happened to you, and then the people who are meant to care and believe you don't believe it, right? What will then end up happening is you'll constantly be triggered in the 3D whenever someone does something. I know someone that happened to you too, and the parents didn't believe her. And her reactions to her SP, who she's now engaged to, but still, her reactions are so extreme with him that if you don't understand her, you'll just be like, is she losing her mind? But it's because she's constantly assuming that he's going to hurt her or leave her or not believe her or not be there for her or because of the way her parents reacted to her abuse, right? So her triggers are really on the surface and really present and really quick with her specific person because your specific person is the person you care about the most, so they'll trigger you the most, or your family will trigger you the most. Okay. You can go back to that scene in your mind of telling your family and decide that they did believe you and they did hear you and you were listened to and heard, or you can just accept that that happened and move on and just decide that you no longer let your triggers trigger you and you're not going to let that past destroy you. I am not my past. I do not let my past affect me. I am the new me. I don't let my triggers trigger me anymore. The past is in the past. It's dead to me now. Okay. And I'm the new me. I see the world through new eyes. I'm the new me. I don't let my triggers trigger me anymore. Say those things, darling. Hi, Tara. I was just thinking today when I wash my hair that I need to use your stuff. Just have to go find it in the cupboard. I realized that when my father said I was a hater towards these people. What? I just had a bad story about them. Can I use the I'm good enough just the way I am affirmations? A hater towards these people. Oh, towards the people in your culture? You're talking about Marie? Yes, use that like everyone in my culture accepts me just as I am. I'm good enough for them. Is that what you mean? Yes. Thank you, lots. Okay, good. I was down to 98 pounds and still thought I was a cow, but I was never really fat. Read this book, guys, if that's you. Mhm. Thank you, Loz. Hi, Loz. I just want to update you that tomorrow I fly to the UK and will see my SP this week. Oh, Philip! This was after we were no contact from early May. Oh, God, it's just jumped to mid-July. I know that this trip will confirm our relationship and I'm excited for all that is to come. I'm seeing this trip as checking out my future country as I live in the USA. Thank you so much for all the teachings and lives. They have been so helpful, especially the self-concept sleep videos. I used to struggle with not being chosen. Now I know to the core of my being that I am always chosen. Oh, Philip, wonderful. Have a fantastic time, darling. And you go there knowing you're chosen and you will be chosen. And you are chosen. Oh, hooray. Oh, that's a lovely story. Oh, I can't wait to hear what happens. We know what's going to happen. It's all going to be good. I feel like I'm slowly making progress since changing my sleep affirmation. SP has increased contact, but dropped a little yesterday. I'm putting it down to the old version, playing out I'm chosen. Look, guys, it can just be the old shit. Don't worry about it. Don't be thrown by it. I know I'm the new me. This is old shit. Mm-hmm. Don't worry about it, Tara. You're doing brilliantly. Just give yourself a pat on the back. If I have to repeat the old story in front of my therapist, will that interfere with a new story? Well, if you dwell there and stay there, then don't do that. When you leave the office, decide you're the new you and you don't think those thoughts anymore. That's used to happen in our therapy, right? We used to go to therapy for one whole day a week, and some people would skip therapy after a couple of months because they used to find going into therapy and rehashing all their shit so fucking triggering that they wouldn't turn up. There's one girl who completely quit because she couldn't stand it, right? You have to have that ability to have a purge, a big vomit, bleh, stuff, and then walk out and be like, "Bing, you me!" Like you're in the vomitorium at the Colosseum. You guys ever gone to the Colosseum? And in the one part of the Colosseum, there's this weird door, like archway, and it's where everyone used to go and vomit all the wine and food they'd just eaten. They'd gorged themselves and went and vomited and then came back. So treat therapy like the vomitorium in ancient Rome, okay? And a big vomit therapy, and you walk out, feeling so much better. I just had a big vomit, okay? Can you please explain the difference between everyone's you pushed out and just our old thoughts playing out, or is it the same? Well, they're playing out still in reality because they're delayed. right? It's the same thing. It's just delayed. I get confused with people who are reflecting that is old and what could be current state. I hope that makes sense what I'm trying to ask. Look, it can be a mixture of both. Sometimes they're playing out the old you and the old thoughts, and sometimes it's new thoughts. Just depends how strong your old thoughts were. Like my old thoughts of I'm not good enough, I do things wrong, there's something wrong with me, was playing out a lot recently with a lot of different people. And I was like, why is this still happening? And it's the very, very, like the core of the earth problem I hadn't got to. And I can't believe I'm so dumb that I didn't figure out that that is the one problem, even though I know it actually is. But I was like, I didn't realize how much it was still affecting me, that I think there's something wrong with me problem. Therefore, I think I do things wrong. Therefore, I upset people. Therefore, I trigger people. Therefore, things go wrong because I'm wrong, right? So when I got to the core of it, I was like, that's why this is still playing out. I've changed a whole lot of other stuff, but this is still playing out because I just hadn't, I got to all the onion and I got to the core of the earth and there was just this little fiery ball still there that I hadn't fucking snubbed out, right? That's why. The apartment story is hilarious. They couldn't get anything permanent in Spain. They'd searched for days. Where is this? Just jumped. God damn it. They'd searched for days, asked her what she wanted it to be. Within 2 days, word for word, what I'd said, they got. Oh, wonderful, darling. Hooray. Oh, you did that. Hooray. I remember that I used to not tell past boyfriends that I had a sister in case they met her and decided they preferred her over me. Thankfully, I'm not that neurotic anymore. That's good, Stacey. So, see, you've got a fear that that's the case with her. So you should change that story completely about her. Rewrite the story of your childhood as if you were the one who was favoured and you were the one who was always prettier, and change the story. Yeah, they don't believe, or they ask you why you let that happen, blaming you. What are we talking about? Or why you let that happen when people don't believe you. That's horrible when people don't believe you, guys. There's nothing worse than a child not being believed. Horrible. Because then you're not validated and you feel like, what, am I not heard? Am I not enough to be listened to? I have a friend like that, and so ever since she never got believed by her mother, she doesn't show any emotion that's to do with sadness, grief, nothing. Because she just feels like, well, what's the point? When I was, the one time I was really fucking sad and upset, no one listened. So they're all converted to manifesting now. She's now manifesting for a more permanent job than bar work in Spain to stay longer. Her apartment is so perfect. I'm visiting the apartment next month. Oh, Nicola, wonderful. Hooray, that's great. Been called to a capability meeting at work regarding my absences. Already received my first warning. I'm feeling really anxious. Don't want to lose my job. Any affirmations, been absence due to my divorce. Purple Rain, just decide that you're living in a country where they have to do all the ticking of the boxes and they just have to do that because of paperwork. And they'll say to you, oh, look, we just have to do this, just formality. We know you're going through a divorce. Don't worry about it. We just had to do it because we have to do it. We don't care. Imagine a story like that, because that is actually what it is. You're not going to get fired. They're just ticking all the boxes. Someone's being a real pedantic asshole at work, and that's all it is. Oh, my girls. Hi, Lois. So the friend I told you about whose SP relapsed, stopped using again for 3 weeks, but now he's pushed her away, asked for friendship after asking to marry her. She's devastated. Oh, no. Oh, after asking to marry her. Okay. So is it that she's got a story that she helped him too much and she's the helper and she kind of mothered him and therefore he sees her that way? Is that what it is? Or is it the story that he only meant it when he was high? He only said marry me because he was high and now he's sober, he doesn't mean it? What's her story? Something going on there. She's got a real fat, shitty story about him and about herself not being wanted by him. That if she's not there caring and being the carer and there for him and people pleasing and over giving to him, he no longer needs her. Is it that kind of story? What's going on there? All she needs to do is decide that they're married and forget about all the other stuff and just work on her self-concept and her story of him. Philip is my SP's name. Love it. How long does it take for you to post to get approved to your Facebook group? Do you not even approve any posts? If they're a question, they'll never be approved. You can't put questions on the group. There's 305 questions in there I'm about to press decline on. I just let them sit there until you guys fucking work it out. Have you worked it out yet? You've got to stick it in the Q&A forum that I post every Monday. I'm just about to post one. Oh, shit. I forgot to post one yesterday. You've got to find QA forum or questions in the hashtags or topics. Go to the hashtags, press on it, go to the post. Under the Neville quote, you'll find everyone's questions. Put yours there. They will not be approved on the page. You know why? Because I don't want my group turning out like the self-concept community and all these other communities where people whinge and moan and trigger everyone else in the community with their fucking shitty questions on the main page. My main page is for success stories and watching videos and encouragement. It is not for whinging. You put it in the forum. Please go find it. That's why. Or if it was a law of attraction post, it won't be posted. Or if it was a success story, in the very bottom you put a question, not posted. Got it. She met him after he was clean. He proposed while clean, but relapsed when his mother went through a medical issue, and I guess he caved. Then he got clean, and he got in his head about what he needs to work on, and then asked for friendship. Oh. He proposed while clean, but relapsed. Oh, okay. So maybe she's got a story that he's got a whole lot of stuff he needs to work on. Because he's got stuff he needs to work on, he can't do relationship right now, and he needs friendship only. She's holding a story about him that he's got issues he needs to work through, and until he's worked through it, they can't be together. Is it that? That's what she needs to change. The affirmations you gave my mum are working. Thank you so much. So I was, oh, good, Ellen. What's this, Charlotte? Hi, Loz. I'm working so hard on my self-concept past 3 weeks. I started to see some positive changes, but every week my 3D just throws a massive curveball. What can I do to stop reacting to 3D? I've tried affirming the old story. It doesn't bother me, and I'm not triggered by the past. Look, guys, sometimes it will still play out. It's a fucking pain in the ass. Okay, what are you going to do? Seriously, that's the attitude. Like, oh, this again. Oh, well. Right? That's really the attitude you need. Look at this cat just here. Look at my cat. What are you doing? Oh, you comfortable? We woke you up. Did you see that? She's all curled up. Don't know if you can see it. Hi, Nugs. Hi, Loz. How in-depth is your self-concept course? If we find out all our core issues and do the affirmations, will they really help? Yes, darling, yes. Okay, there's an assessment. Then there's affirmations to go with what you found out in the assessment, what your core fears are. And then there's old story, changing the old story to go with that, changing your triggers. Okay, and then there's a beautiful recording at the end to really cement what you've learned. Okay? Any more questions that I missed? I keep having this bad thought about SP and third party, but I always quickly catch myself. Good. And affirm the opposite. Is that okay? That's wonderful, Orla. That's wonderful. Perfect. Keep doing that. That's exactly what you should be doing. You look like Daphne from Scooby-Doo here. Oh, do I? Oh, I do a bit. With the scarf. Daphne, that's the name of my cat. I thought it was Daphne from Scooby-Doo. And when I was looking up her name, I couldn't see any Daphne from Scooby-Doo. And I was thinking, I'm sure her name's Daphne with the glasses from Scooby-Doo. And I was trying to look it up. Lucky, I'm glad you told me that, because I really wanted to know, was her name Daphne in Scooby-Doo, and I couldn't find anything. It is Daphne, isn't it? The one with the glasses, the nerdy one. That's my cat's name. Oh, what's this? Is also another part of the story. When my older brother admitted to what he did, I wrote a journal to one of my childhood teachers about it, and he called CPS, so I had to go to the police station every weekend for a year, and my parents made me lie to the cops about the situation that never happened, and I made it up to protect my brothers. Oh, no, darling. Oh, fuck me sideways. That's horrible. Oh, so but you know what that is? That's a whole lot of your parents are so ashamed that their own child did that. They can't take it. They can't cope. They can't face it. That's what that is. They know what happened. They know. They're just so ashamed that their child would do that to their other child. That's what that is, darling. If you can see your parents that way, you might one day be able to forgive them. I know that will be hard, but Velma is the nerdy one. Oh, okay. Velma's the one with the glasses. Well, who's Daphne then? She's the other one. Velma's the one with the glasses. That's right. I'm trying to think what Daphne looks like then. Thank you, Loz. We'll tell her. Oh, good. Oh, my God, that sounds good. Can't wait until it's out. Okay, good. SP is part of my culture and he's back, so still working on changing that story so I don't mess this up. Marie, look what you just wrote. Look what you just wrote there. So I don't mess it up. See? Stop saying that. You're not going to mess it up, right? I told you. What affirmation would you suggest for marriage proposal and commitment? I am the wife. I'm so wifey. I love being a wife. Of course I'm married. Who wouldn't want to marry me? I'm the fucking catch of the world. Velma's a nerdy one. Oh. I had a boat party the other day and SP was there, and before I went, I said, SP will show us just how much he loves me. He was so jumpy and awkward around me, like it made it so weird being around me. Oh, I'm taking this as a good sign and saying, okay, it's because he loves me so much. Oh, that's lovely. I love when they do things like that. Wonderful. Daphne is the one with red hair. Oh, red hair. Velma's the one with glasses. Yes. Is Daphne the long-haired one? Yes, I think so. Can you get the SP back if you just work on the self-concept? Yes, guys, because they will just reflect you. But if you're holding a really shitty old story about them, I suggest you change that too. Right. I'm just laughing at you because I say shit like that all the time. You're right. I knew that before I wrote it. Exactly. All right, guys, what are we going to call this? What did we talk about mostly on this live? Triggers, knowing your triggers, and childhood abuse, or being listened to, being heard. Okay, I'll call it that, guys. So I think it's number 72. It'll be live number 72 with a red thumbnail, and can you watch it? You can watch it back after this. Okay. Any more questions, guys? It was so confusing, but I'll take it in a good way. Okay, good. Daphne's the one all the guys are after, just like all of us in your group. Yes, Nicola, yes. Then I saw him zoom in on a pic of me. It was so confusing. Oh, lovely, Nugs. Just want to say thank you. You've really blown my mind and helped me so much since watching you. Oh, wonderful, Charlotte. Hooray. Hooray. So, guys, I'll put a link in a minute. Oh, where is it? I can never find the fucking thing. I'll put the link in a minute to the email. Make sure you put the email alert, your email in the email alert, so you know when the coaching group and course will be out, and put your email there. Otherwise, follow the Facebook group, be in the Facebook group, and follow the Subconscious Laws Facebook page, and also my TikTok, just so you covered all the bases so you know when it's out. Okay? All right, guys. I'll see you soon, and thank you for all the super chats, and thanks for the questions. I'll see you soon, guys. Bye. See you guys.